Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we're going to be going through a full breakdown of the entire LEC offseason, every single roster move that happened, all of the new rosters, the fully completed lineups and everything that we're going to be seeing in the 2021 season for the LEC. I made one of these videos for the LCS probably like a couple of weeks ago, and I told myself I was going to make one for the LEC, but never really got around to it for whatever reason. There was also still a couple rosters that were like being fleshed out all the way in Europe, but now we have the full roster. We have the full lineups. Gosu.ai made this really awesome kind of sheet of just all the stuff that we're going to be running through today. I'm going to be giving my opinions on some of the different rosters and moves, all that stuff. I retweeted their stuff over on Twitter, so if you want to check this out or show them some love, definitely go check that out over on Twitter, because I would appreciate it a bunch. And I know they would as well, because this is awesome content that they did. This sheet is really clean and makes doing this stuff for people like me really easy, really simple, and makes it awesome for all you guys to just be able to see this stuff really easily. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you're not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really quick. It's fast, it's free, it's easy, it helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content, and I would appreciate it a ton. Recently, we just hit 5,500 subscribers, and my goal is in 2021 to hit 6K as fast as we can. LCS, LEC, all those seasons are coming up really fast. You guys know I'm going to be having a ton of content, and this is going to be a dope year for my channel, for LOL Esports, hopefully, and hopefully for just everything we got going on here. So 2020 was an awesome year. Hopefully 2021 is just as great for me, my channel, and for the stuff I'm making for all of you guys as well. But again, with that being said, here we go. The LCS 2021 roster updates, going through every single roster change, new player that's come, gone, everything in the LEC, the full breakdown. We'll try to not cut anything off. I know my head's gonna be covered in some stuff, but I'll try to make it work. Also, my green screen's going a little bit in and out right now, so I got some stuff in my head. Hey, I'm sorry. We're trying to figure it out still. All right, so first up we have Astralis. This is the X-Origin team, obviously. First of all, taking a look at who left the team. Some pretty big departures. We have the biggest one being Alfari headed over to Team Liquid. That's going to be a tough guy to replace. Destiny, you know, that's a solid little loss. Destiny was a solid player in the LEC while he was there. Upset is another big one, and Xerxes is a big loss as well. People have kind of mixed opinions on Xerxes. He kind of didn't end his LEC stint as hot as it started. Some people think, you know, he's not going to be able to regain his old form and the greatness that he once had, but for sure at one time he was one of the better junglers in the LEC. So maybe he's a little bit more replaceable than guys like Alfari and Upset, but this is a tough offseason for Astralis. They lost a lot of guys. They replaced them with a lot of young guys, but man, this is probably going to be a rough season for them. As far as the guys that got coming in, they have White Knight. He's a little bit of an older player in terms of age. We've seen him around a little bit before. I love his name, but it's a guy I've been following for a while. I think he's really interesting. He has a huge champion pool, plays a ton of different picks, but I don't know how much success he's going to be able to find in the LEC. I think he's going to be one of the weaker top laners, especially starting out. Zanzara is a guy that it seems like people are actually decently hyped up for. He is an interesting one to me, but man, jungle in Europe is pretty tough. I don't think he's going to be the worst jungler in Europe, but I think he'll be in like the bottom third. He's another young guy with a lot of promise, and maybe he can work out, but still it's going to be tough right at the beginning. Jessica and Promiscu in the bot lane. Promiscu is just hilarious. I know it's a big meme and stuff and everybody. I think Jessica and Promiscu are going to be one of the weaker, if not maybe the even weakest bot lane in the LEC. I think it's going to be tough. 80 carries absolutely stacked in the LEC this year, so Jessica has a tall order ahead of him. And then a lot of people were surprised that Astralis is actually bringing back Nuke Duck. People feel that he's one of the weaker mid laners in the LEC. He is a veteran, so you kind of know what you're getting with him. He doesn't have a lot of room for improvement as far as that goes, and the team is going young and inexperienced is a large part, so they could have probably went with a young mid laner or a guy with a little more talent or promise, but they decided to bring back Nuke Duck. Maybe having a veteran mixed in with some younger, more inexperienced guys will help them learn and grow and stuff, because there is maybe something there. But overall, Astralis had a weird offseason. They lost a lot of players. They went young. They're going cheap. They're probably not going to be very good, but maybe one of these guys will pan out to be a superstar, and, that'll be the player they build around for the future. But right now, they don't really have, like, that guy that they're kind of rebuilding around. They're, like, just, in the very early days of rebuilding this team. So, I don't know, good luck to them. Might be a rough season if you're an Astralis fan. Next up, we have Excel. Not as many losses here. They have Kadril, who is obviously going into like content creation and casting and stuff. And yeah, so not as many moving parts on Excel this year. Obviously, the big man on this team is Patrick. So many people love this guy. I mean, there's some people who think he might be the best AD carry in the LEC. I've had that comment a couple times. People really, really believe in him. People think he's really going to be able to take a big step up this year. And if Patrick is able to do that, this could be maybe a playoff team. I don't know. The LEC is tough this year. There's a lot of good teams, and it's going to be a deep league, and Excel doesn't have a ton of talent. I'm not super excited about them bringing in Dan. I think he is going to be one of the weaker junglers in the LEC, maybe the weakest. Torre is not a support that I'm super excited about. I wish Patrick was paired up with a little bit somebody better, because that would be so exciting, and their bot lane would be way more interesting. Cries isn't terrible, but the two things that are getting me excited about Excel: Patrick, his huge carry potential, his absolute pop-off potential, seeing how big of a step he can take this year in terms of getting better, and then Jekyllad in the mid lane. People are super excited about this guy. I think this might be the new best young mid laner coming into the LEC. LEC has a few different new mid laners coming in this year. A lot of young guys looking to prove something. Jekyllad might be the best of the bunch. And again, this Excel team, they don't look great. They're going to need Jekyllad to be great if they want to do some damage in the LEC this year, if they want to, maybe make a playoff run. So I'm going to be watching them to see what's up. I want to see if Jekyllad is all the hype, if he is actually legit, and I want to see how hard Patrick can pop off. I think Excel, unlike Astralis, I think Excel actually has a few guys that they are building around. They still are a team kind of in rebuilding mode, trying to work towards the future, but they have a few nice, really core pieces, and that's awesome. That's really what it's all about. Next up, we have Shulka. They had a pretty interesting offseason as well. They lost Oduwamne. They lost Dreams. They're having to have a couple moving parts. This is the team who started out terrible, ended the year so hot, and then just barely didn't make it to Worlds. But man, that Shulka Dream run was obviously super fun to watch. The biggest thing to me here is that Oduwamne is out, Broken Blade is in. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Broken Blade's game translates to the LEC, how well he's able to do. Is he going to be an improvement over Oduwamne? I think most people expect him to be a little bit of a downgrade over Oduwamne, but I think in the end they're going to be pretty comparable players, so that should be pretty good for Shulka. It'll be interesting to see how good Gilius and Abadage are able to do. Is it going to be Faker Dage, or is it going to be, maybe some Abadage that hasn't been so great that we've seen in the past, because he can be really hit or miss. He can be great, and he can be not so great as well. So that'll be interesting to see. They have Limit coming in. It's a young support that I know a lot of people are excited about too. I think he has a chance to do really good. I think Shulka, they're going to be an interesting team. I could see them finishing like 5th. I could see them finishing like 3rd. I think there's a lot of range for this team, but they should be solid. They should be one of the better teams in LEC. I don't know if they're going to be as great as they were at maybe like the peak of their dream run, but I don't expect them to be as terrible as they were at the beginning of the season either. I think they should be a solid middle of the pack team who, if they overachieve, they could maybe make Worlds, maybe finish at a decent position in the LEC. They're an exciting team. I'm a big fan of Broken Blade. I'm wishing the best for him. Obviously, we got the TSM stuff on, so I hope my boy BB pops off. Next up, we have Fnatic, another really interesting team. Obviously, a crazy offseason. Mithy's out. Yamato Cannon is in. A lot of people are thinking that should be a big upgrade in the coaching position. Hopefully some better drafts, maybe some better synergy, maybe just an overall better playstyle for Fnatic. Obviously, the biggest move is that Reckless is gone, which was absolutely crazy part of the offseason, and Nemesis is out. So they lost some big names, but they got great replacements. Again, Yamato Cannon, awesome coach. He should be really good for Fnatic. Niski coming into the mid lane. I think he's a little bit overrated, but with how bad Nemesis looked at times last year, I think Niski could be an improvement over him, and I think Niski does fit into the Fnatic system, into the Fnatic playstyle really well. If they do want to have Selfmade Upset being their two huge, massive carries, having a more supportive style mid laner might fit perfectly in with this team. This Fnatic team, honestly, I think they have a chance to be better than they were last year. They were just a game away from making the semifinals at Worlds, and I think Niski could be an upgrade over Nemesis, and I'm not going to say that Upset is an upgrade over Reckless, but I think Upset is very serviceable. I think he can fill those shoes that Reckless is leaving just fine, and hopefully not be too massive of a downgrade as to where Fnatic can still be really good. I think Selfmade, if he takes another step up in his game this year, Fnatic could be an insanely scary team. And I think they could be the second best team in the LEC, and that would be really exciting for this team. A year after losing Reckless, to still be one of the best teams in the LEC, one of the best teams in the world, that would be pretty good. That's not bad. But yeah, I think this team's interesting. We'll see how it all plays out. Next up, we have G2. Not a whole lot to talk about here, but everybody knows. Perks is out. Reckless is in. Huge, insane move. It seems like every year G2 is a part of the biggest, roster move in the world. First of all, Caps coming over, Perks going AD carry. Then the next year, Caps and Perks swapping back. And now this year, Perks is gone, Reckless is in. Absolutely massive. I think Reckless is going to fit into this team and this playstyle so well. They have a ton of carries. They have perhaps one of the best players in the world in Caps who can be a massive carry for this team, who can absolutely pop off. Reckless is a perfect secondary carry, secondary option, consistent AD carry for this team. Even though Perks was the lifeblood and soul of this team, Reckless has those same leadership characteristics, those same leadership qualities, and I think he's just an overall better AD carry. G2's been one of the best teams in the world the last 2 years. I think they got better this offseason. That's really scary. The LEC's got to watch out. I think Reckless is going to fit right into this team. I'm not worried about synergies. I'm not worried about playstyle differences, anything like that. I think this team's going to be great, and I hope they're a world championship contender because, hey, yeah, I'm from the NA, but we're all rooting for the West. I want to see the West be great. Next up, we have Mad Lions. Really exciting team. This team had some crazy ups and downs. During parts of the 2020 season, they looked like maybe the best team in the LEC. I mean, there was times where G2 was slumping, times where Fnatic wasn't looking so great, and there was times where Mad Lions looked insane. Kaiser looked like an MVP candidate. Humanoid looked like one of the best mid laners in the world at times, which is absolutely crazy. And this team is so young, has a ton of talent, and they have the pieces to build around Humanoid, Karzi, Kaiser. Absolute studs. Great core for a young team building towards the future, and they can win right now. Arome and Shadow are gone. Shadow was the first team all-LEC jungler in the summer split. He's now headed over to the LPL. That could be a little bit of an issue. That sucks for Mad Lions losing him, but Arome, a lot of people saw as the weak point on this team. Armut's coming in. People are excited for him, and Aloya should be pretty decent as well. This is another team that, I could see them finishing anywhere from like 5th to 2nd. I mean, it's going to be tough for all those teams. Like Mad Lions, they could be better than Fnatic. They could be better than Shulka, but they have 2 new pieces coming in, 2 new players coming in. I could see maybe things don't work out. Maybe the synergies don't work out right. Maybe Armut's not as good as people think he's going to be. Maybe Aloya, just doesn't pan out how they think. Whenever you're bringing in new moving pieces, it can be scary, and there can be a ton of variance. I love this Mad Lions team, though. Humanoid is one of my favorite players to watch. I think this team's going to be great. I could definitely see them going back to World, and hopefully they're able to do a little bit better than last year and kind of avenge their early kind of fallout from World. But this team, they're fun to watch. They're an exciting bunch. Next up, we have Misfits. I guess we haven't heard who the starting top laner is going to be. I know they have Aggressivo and Hyrite. That'll be interesting to see. A lot of new young guys on this team as well. Obviously, Vethio coming in and whatever's going to be happening in the top lane. Dan's gone. Febiven's gone. Doss is out of there. The big pickup for this team this offseason, though, was Vander coming over from Rogue. People are expecting him to be a huge playmaker. He looked like an amazing support last year. And paired up with Kabe in the bot lane, they have a chance to really surprise people. And if they pop off, Misfits could be a scary team. They could be a team that maybe steals some games from some more talented rosters. Because, again, I'm not super excited about Razork. Vethio, he's coming in. He's going to be a young guy. We'll see how that plays out. And whatever they decide to do in the top lane, a lot of question marks. So they need their bot lane to be solid. Obviously, they went and got their guy in Vander. They're expecting big things from him. Kabe is a very solid AD carry. He is absolutely insane. When he does pop off, when he does have those big games, he can carry. He can... he is a bot laner that can play with the best of them. Like I said, AD carry is insane in the LEC. There are so many great AD carries, and Kabe is for sure one of them. So yeah, we'll see how the synergy works out, how well they're able to pair up right away, especially early on in the season. But I think with time, Kabe and Vander can be a very great bot lane duo, obviously. Again, the Misfits roster, not that great when compared to the rest of the LEC roster, so I think it's going to be tough. I don't know if they are even good enough to be able to make the playoffs. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't love the top jung situation on this team. But they have some bright spots. I love the pickup of Vander. I think they did some good things in the offseason. Next up, we have Rogue. Finn is gone. Vander is gone. We just talked about him. Trimby's coming in. People are really excited for this guy. A young up-and-coming support. Obviously, if they're willing to get rid of Vander, if they're willing to move on from him, they must really believe in Trimby. They must really see something there. He's going to be paired up with Sama. If you're a new young support coming in to the LEC, that's an awesome guy to have by your side. It's an awesome guy to learn underneath and just be playing with on the Rift. Hopefully, he's able to come in and do big things because this roster looks great. Larson, Sama, Inspired, some of the best players in the LEC Rogue could be one of the best teams again. Again, they're going to be right there with teams like Fnatic and Mad Lions fighting for that second best team in the LEC. I don't think they're going to be able to come to like G2 levels or anything like that. But that fight for second is going to be very, very competitive, and it's going to be tough to make it to Worlds in the LEC. Obviously, Rogue is coming off a Worlds appearance. They want to continue to build off that. They want to grow off that and hopefully even make it out of groups next year. But just even qualifying for Worlds again is going to be tough. But Finn was seen as a weak spot in this team last year. Oduwamne is the guy that they went and got, their big replacement, their big kind of solution. And I think he should be a pretty significant upgrade over from Finn. And this Rogue team was very good last year. They're very scary despite maybe some of the shortcomings in the top lane. So now that they have an improvement there, this team could be really, really scary. And if things click, if Oduwamne fits in good with this team, if Trimby is as good as advertised, as good as some people and Rogue probably expect him to be, this team could be a threat. Watch out for them. They're a fun team to watch. They're one of my favorites as well. I really, really like them. Then we have SK Gaming. Crazy, crazy offseason for them. Crown Shot is gone. He's, nowhere to be found in the LEC. We have Trick out, Limit out. This team's going really, really young. A lot of interesting pickups here. Obviously, again, the TSM stuff. We got Treats in the bot lane. I think Treats is really good. When we saw him in the LCS, he maybe had a little problems with figuring out laning. But to be fair, he was paired up with Doublelift, who was playing pretty terrible throughout the whole 2020 season. And I think Treats was still able to look pretty good at times. He's been one of the better academy supports in the LCS for a couple of years now. So I'm glad he's finally getting a shot. I think he's going to be good. People are really, really excited for Tynex and Blue. We'll see how they pan out. Again, this team is very young. They have a ton of question marks. For me, they're really hard to evaluate and even rank going in to the new season. I'm just going to be watching this team as much as I can to try to get a feel on a lot of these players because, again, we haven't really seen a lot of these guys at the highest level yet, and the LEC is going to be a big test, obviously, for them. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of finish towards the bottom of the league, especially in the spring split where they're going to be really young and kind of figuring things out still. But the LEC has a way of just finding superstar young mid laners. So Blue has a chance to come in and be a stud right away. I know there is definitely people excited about him. But crazy offseason for them, losing guys like Crown Shot, losing Limit. But they have some good replacements. They have some things to be excited about. I don't hate their roster going forward. Finally, we have Vitality. We have Cabochard out is kind of the big thing here. Cisgenda is going to be the replacement. Again, another guy that I like. I think he should be a very, very solid replacement for Cabochard. I know a lot of people are starting to say that Cabochard is washed up, that he's donezo, and the team needed to move on. They have the rest of the pieces coming back. Militia is going to be really, really fun to watch him continue to grow because I know a lot of people are excited about him kind of being this big carry threat. Comp and Lebrov, I get so many comments that I'm sleeping on Comp and Lebrov, and they're going to have an insane season, that they're going to be so good for Vitality. This roster, they're going to be good. They're bringing back a lot of the same pieces. It's always good to keep those synergies, to keep building on them. But the top 5 in the LEC is tough. I see this as probably like the 6th best team. I don't know. Like, is Vitality going to pass up Shulka? Are they going to pass up Mad Lions? Like, I don't know. I just don't see that, but I think they can be 6th. I think they can make the playoffs. Then once you make the playoffs, anyone's got a shot. This Vitality team has things to be excited about for the future, but I don't know if this is the year where they're going to take that next step up and like start competing for like a world spot or anything like that. But they have some nice pieces building towards the future. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. This was it, reviewing all of the LEC offseason roster changes, all the moves, new rosters, players on new teams, who's in, who's out, all of that good stuff, and giving my thoughts and opinions along the way. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out a ton. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm, getting my videos seen by more and more people. I would appreciate it greatly. Leave a comment down below. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? Anything that we talked about in this video? Which roster are you most excited for? Which move did you think was good, bad, whatever? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to update on my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!